Nowadays, if I hear a song and I like it, all I have to do is pick up my phone and be like, hey, what is this song? And it'll tell me exactly what it is. And then I can download it in 2 seconds or stream it or whatever. But 20, 30 years ago, going out and discovering music was a whole different world. And that is what I'm going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about music discovery, how people got their hands on music. It was a totally, totally, totally different thing than now. Now, all you have to do is push a button. Actually, you don't even have to push a button. You can just talk to your phone and be like, hey, play this song by this artist, and boom, it'll start playing. You couldn't do that just a couple decades ago. Now, if you heard a song, we'll start with people. There was no TikTok, there was no Facebook, Instagram. People didn't use social media and stuff like that because it didn't exist. People discovered music through MTV. They would play music videos on the radio, by going to shows, opening bands and stuff like that, and word of mouth from friends sharing music with each other. That's how people discovered music. And when you heard a song that you liked, like, say you're listening to WBCN on the radio, 104.1, or WAAF or whatever. You listen to the radio or jamming 94.5, and a song comes on, and you're like, "Whoa, I love this song. I want to hear more of it, but I don't know who it's by, and I don't know what it's called." And you would have to, take, like, you'd write down whatever lyrics you could remember, and then go to a record store and ask the guy, be like, "Hey, this song, whoa, we're halfway there. Yo, living on a prayer. Do you know what song I'm talking about?" And and you'd have to try to hope that the guy knew what the hell you were talking about and could point you in the right direction. But it was a whole thing. Just trying to figure out what a song was. And then, but if you knew what a song was, even if you did know what it was, it could be awful trying to find, almost impossible to find the song. Sometimes you'd hear a song on college radio or something, some obscure song, and like, and then you go to your local record store. Even if you know the name of it, you're not going to find it. If like Black Flag, video I just recorded, I was just talking about Nirvana influences and talking about like Black Flag, Minor Threat, Husker Du, bands like that. If I used to go. We used to make pilgrimages. We'd go in downtown Boston. We'd go to Providence, Rhode Island. We'd even go to New York City, in downtown Manhattan, looking for records in the late '90s. Cassettes and CDs, not actual record albums, but CDs and cassettes. Black Flag was. I used to. None of the local record stores had any real good punk stuff, so I'd have to go into Boston and to find Black Flag cassettes, and or whatever. Like a lot of the punk that I got into, the Misfits, all that stuff in the '90s. That I'd have to go into Boston. Local record stores would only have like top 40, top 100, like popular stuff, the big bands on the big labels. But anything that was more obscure, like anything indie, you would not find locally. You would have to go into a big city, and even then, it could be hard to find stuff. Stuff would be out of stock. Some stuff you could find in some cities, not in other cities. But I used to go to what was that? Was it? I can't. Not Tower Records. It wasn't Newberry. It was before Newberry. I forget what it was. There was a place in Cambridge in Boston that I loved. I can't remember the name of it, but they had such the most obscure stuff ever. But anyway, so just getting your hands, just if you wanted to hear a song, used to be like, it could take months or even years. Now it takes a few seconds. You hear a 2 second snippet of a song, and you ask ChatGPT what it is. They'll tell you what the song is, and then they'll show you where you can find it. But it used to be a whole thing. You would have to first you'd have to figure out what the song was, and that in and of itself could prove impossible. There are still songs that I remember hearing on the radio, like 30 years ago, and absolutely loving them and doing everything I could to try to find out what that song was, and not being able to. There's one chord progression actually in particular that I still remember hearing on the radio like 30 years ago, and I've been looking for the song ever since. I'm almost positive it's Elliott Smith, but I cannot find this song, and it's driven me crazy for decades. Even now, when I have access to all this stuff, it's still. But that's a whole other thing. But my point is that you on the one hand, you don't know how lucky for those of you who are younger, you don't know how lucky you are to be able to have every song essentially ever recorded at your fingertips. But at the same time, you also don't know how unlucky you are because those trips going into Boston, going to Providence, going to New York, those trips were awesome. I mean, God, the you never knew what you were going to find. You never knew what you were going to come back with. You know, for come back and you just sometimes you just put the cassette in and it would just be awful because you never know what you're buying before you buy it. It's not like you can sample it beforehand. You just got to hope that it's good. And sometimes you buy an album and you love it. Sometimes you buy it and think it sucks. But it's that's part of the fun. It's part of the mystery. And even if you thought it sucks, you'd still listen to it a few times because you don't have anything else to listen to now. If you listen to a song you don't like, you can skip it in 2 seconds and listen to 100 billion other songs in a second. So it's just one of those things. Um, Now, as a music lover, of course, I love living in the present era where I have access to all music ever recorded at my fingertips at all times. But at the same time, I'm very, very thankful that I got to live through the old era of music discovery because it's never going to be like that again. I don't think. I can't imagine how it ever could be with the internet being what it is and with technology being what it is. But um, it was a whole different world just to find a song. It could consume you. It could eat up your. It would drive me crazy finding hearing a song on the radio that I liked and just trying so hard to figure out what it was and where I could hear it again. Um, it's uh, it's oh, things have changed so much, but anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit about that, about how music we used to. It used to be a lot harder to get your hands on music or even figure out what you know what to what to where to, what to listen to. But now everything's curated personally for you, shoved down your throat on these streaming apps and stuff like that, and there's not a whole lot of room for the random music discovery. So yeah, I could go on and on about this, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about how music discovery has changed and how it used to be a whole thing. You'd have to go into the city to try to find the song you're looking for or a record or whatever, and now it's just diddly and you got it in 2 seconds. Gotta love technology. Anyway, I think that's all I got. If you'd like to share some of your stories of music, discovering music back in the day or discovering music now, please share it in the comments. If you like this video, share it, like, subscribe, all that. It helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. Till next time, be well.